let's take a next quiz that we have. CIS 123, right? So if I go to, okay, try to log in. So the next quiz is quiz number 2, functions and pointers, right? So that includes things about functions and things about pointers. All right, so let's take a look at this. It says, given an array of integers, right? An array of integers is initialized with these numbers. Of course, there will be 4 elements in this array, and then pointer is initialized with the address of this first integer, which is 40. Using only necessary pieces to construct your answer, solve a puzzle for C statement that sets numbers 3 equal to 40. Okay. So let me see what's available in this puzzle. Numbers 3 equal to 40. So ideally, so let's just make sure that we all are on the same page. So we pretty much have, if I try resizing it, right? So so what I have here is that, let's see. So there's numbers. Numbers is basically an array of 4 integers. Let's just kind of create it like this, right? Index 0, index 1, index 2, and index 3 would be our indices. And numbers, of course, stores the address of the first element of this integer array. And we initialize them with 40, with 45, with 50, and with 55. Then it says, make sure that numbers 3 is equal 40. So ideally, what would be ideal would be to say numbers 3 equals 40. That's pretty much all we need to accomplish. So we can safely use this piece of the puzzle and say, okay, numbers 3 equals, and then we don't have the 40 piece. But at the same time, we say that pnum, right? Pnum, which is a pointer to an integer, is initialized with an address of the number, so it points to the same location. It points to this initial element, and so 40 is there. So obviously, pnum 0, which is the way to access access memory by pointer, should be the solution. And of course, remember that every statement needs a semicolon. So for the sake of consistency, we should use that. That works. Pointers and functions. So again, I'm telling you, I'm not asking you to write code, but I'd like you to look at the code and deal with the syntax. I'm not giving you any other homeworks. Besides reading, you should, what we do here in class should help you a great deal in terms of understanding the book. Because remember, you have a book, pages in the book talks about the same topics. But here I'm trying to have you, challenge you to look at some code and get you going with some thinking. What is wrong with the following program? It's a very typical, a lot of these questions, by the way, are from questionnaires of when you go to a job interview. So it's your direct practice for, you know, going to get a job. It's a very good set of exercises for you. What is wrong with the following program? All right, so let's just take a look at this. So we have some includes. We have a function named update coordinates. It seems okay. It has something in it. Main also looks okay. Has the return statement. So let's just look at this. We're almost out of time, but we will stick around hopefully for another few minutes to talk about this quiz, right? So let's see. So main, right? We have main, and of course main has its stack frame, and in its stack frame it has x and it has y, and both are set to 0, right? These two variables, x and y. set to 0. Then it says update coordinates, and update coordinates is expecting parameters. Px is a pointer to integer. Py is also a pointer to integer. In other words, the function is expecting addresses. But clearly what we do here, we see that xy are passed by values, right? What this line should be saying perhaps is this, update coordinates, and it should be taking address of x and address of y. If we wanted to pass x and y to this function, we just have to use addresses because the function is expecting addresses to use to initialize the pointer variables inside. All right, so that already kind of tells me, oh, that's what might be wrong here. So the function call should use x and y. So clearly it's this answer, and the function should not use pointers, nothing is wrong, and so forth. So I'm hoping that this is the right one. So one more. Have a pointer initialized with null pointer. I have numbers, array of numbers, 1200, 14, 0, and 107. Solve a puzzle for C statement that sets pointer PTR to point to the number 1200 in computer memory. So PTR is a pointer. I can assign, equal sign, assigns. I can just simply assign the numbers, which is the address of the first integer in memory, and use the semicolon at the end. So as you can see, those are not really big or difficult to deal with. Another one, just for an example. Program statements, x equals dereference pointer, or this, are for pointers to integer only, are for int and character data types, are exactly the same. So clearly, they are exactly the same. So you guys want to stick around and go through a few more, or what's the consensus? Or everyone's so tired that you cannot continue anymore? 3 more questions, real quick, and we're done. All right. So statement pointer equals 0 in code fragment, such as this, does not affect the memory value. It changes the address that the pointer holds. I think so, because pointer was initialized with the address of a variable which is an integer minimum value, right? And then all of a sudden pointer was initialized with reset to 0. So of course its address is affected. Other option here is does not affect the pointer, affects the value in memory. In order for this to affect the value in memory is that you need to use an asterisk in front of pointer, then you would be assigning 0 to the location which pointer is pointing here. Right here in this example, pointer variable itself is set to 0. So you should be glad that we have a practice mode. You can practice with this, and I hope this makes you think about those little examples and so forth. So one more example. Integer age equals 50. Now, I want you to realize that you shouldn't be shy to do what I do. I always try to envision this and say, okay, I have some computer memory. I know exactly what integer is. It's just some box named age, right? And there's a box like this, and we initialize it with 50. In fact, I could probably use this, just like draw a box, say age, which is the name of it, and 50 is the value stored in the box. I think it's more appropriate, right? Then we create another, we create PTR, which is in itself a box, and of course it's the pointer to an integer, so it just simply is initialized with address of age. It points to an integer 50 in memory. So program statements, obviously the question is about the last statement, dereference pointer equals 5, right? So remember, dereferencing pointer basically says, use this pointer to access the value. So of course the result of it is the value 5 is going to be stored there. So we just say the net result is the value 5 is assigned to the variable age. That would be my choice. Another choice, creates new integer. That's just silly. I hope you can laugh at these intentionally obvious wrong answers. And set pointer to address 5, no, because we're dereferencing it. We're actually saying use this pointer to store new value at the address pointed by that integer. So we did cover some of this today, and I think we're definitely out of time. I don't want you to be hold you for longer. So take a look at this quiz. Definitely don't take it for. And by the way, every time you run this quiz, new questions will come up, right? But if you practice a few times, you'll realize that the questions begin to repeat themselves, and you should become more comfortable with this. And I know everything today, and including this quiz, may look a little bit horrifying, but you will thank me for this practice. All right. So I'll see you guys next week. Questions?